Hey guys, this is Richard Ogachi. Thank you so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel, and it's been nice. I welcome you to share my videos, make comments, criticize, and give your input on where I should improve on my videos and presentation of these videos. So tonight, I'm a registered nurse, remember, migrant to the US, and just giving nursing experience both in the US and in Africa. Tonight, I wanted to talk about preparedness to die. When you come to the hospital, we always want to know if you have um, advanced directives. So, advanced directives are not very popular practice in Africa. I think most African countries. Advanced directives, for those who don't know, is you giving authority on what you want done if your heart stops beating in the hospital. There are those kind of chances. Do you want to have CPR done? That means you want to get chest compressions or only drugs or medicines. We usually want in healthcare that when you get to the hospital, it's good to know what your advanced directives are. What do you want done just in case your heart stops beating? Just in case your heart stops beating or you don't have a pulse, what do you want done? So some people don't have advanced directives. Most people don't have, for sure, especially young people. And it's so weird at times when you find a young person having advanced directives. It's not common. It's like you're already having that notion or mindset that you're gonna die. So it's not a common practice in Africa. And for the simple reason, even in the US actually, for the simple reason that people fear death or people don't want to talk about death. In fact, I think in Africa, if you bring that conversation around with patients, they will make a conclusion that maybe you don't have good intentions. You are after um, making sure that you're only thinking about negatives, and I've come here for treatment. I'm hopeful, so I'm gonna get better, and I go home. The same analogy I think I usually relate to when you see people doing in marriage, doing prenups. You know, people who do prenups, it's usually like a conversation people have to say, are you anticipating divorce? Is that why you're so sure maybe you're not going to be with me for forever? Maybe you're anticipating that we divorce, that's why you want to put me in a contract. The same case with advanced directives. So advanced directives, living will, durable power of attorney are not very famous or common practices in Africa. I think most African countries, most people die and leave their properties and their assets in limbo. What most the government decides gets, maybe you government decides what happens to, or the courts decide what happens when you've left everything interstate, that's in limbo. So even when you talk about comfort measures means that you been treated and the doctors have decided that you're not going to, I mean, recovery is not imminent. Only death is imminent. So you want to make you have a comfortable process of dying. People don't want to have that kind of conversations, and especially in Africa in the most part. So when you have those kind of conversations in Africa, people are very skeptical and they don't want to have those kind of conversations. But you know what? Death is very eminent to all of us. The only mystery about death is that you don't know when you're gonna die. And that's why I usually say memento mori. Everyone is gonna die. We only don't know when you will die. But all of us will die. And that's why you see the analogy around Stoicism. I like Stoicism because they have a mindset that is giving you wholesomeness in the context of life. Because then they talk about being less emotional. Because like even these advanced directive conversations that we have, they are coupled with emotions, and people are not able to have conversations about death. Death is almost all the time on our head. It's the only thing that has to happen to all of us, but we don't know when we are gonna die. As a matter of fact, when you're born, you start dying. When you are born, you start getting closer to your death. Like today, you are a day closer to your death. You are gonna die. And we don't like to have that kind of conversations because we fear death. Most of us, all of us, we fear death, you know. But even having those kind of conversation, of course, is you don't know what's gonna happen to you after death. You don't know what's gonna, especially if you have a family, you have people who depend on you, you know. You have siblings, and you know there are people who love you, they want to be with you longer. But you know, I have seen people have very difficult conversation around dying, and they get to a point where I've taken care of patients that families have made up their mind that let these people rest, let this person rest, and they like release them. And you see the scare, the scare and the fear, but still, you know, getting the comfort, the fact that you've had these conversations with healthcare providers and you have understood and being in peace with what is going to happen. And as I said, you know, stoicism talks about being less emotional, you know, just having, and some people think that stoicism is being emotionless. It's being less emotional, being empathetic, just feeling what's going on and feeling the pain, but still getting detached. The fact that you want to appreciate what is going on, accept, let it go through you, and then you accept it as it is. But having difficult conversations around death for many people. But I like most how it's done in the US. Like having worked in long-term care, work mostly with older populations, you know, older guys, old people. And I look at what life means after you doing what you've done in the world for 90 years, and you are so worn out, you're so like used, and the body has become weak and it's frail, and you have no more time left. You're only waiting for the time that you die. But still, that difficult conversation around dying. People don't want to talk about that. We are uncomfortable talking about death anyways, because then we bring that conversation or that image of feeling that maybe you want to die or you want other people to die. No. Whether you talk about it or not, it's happened. It's happening. It is happening as I speak now. It happened yesterday. It's going to happen tomorrow. And it will keep happening. But you see, we are so scared. We are so engulfed with fear of dying, because we think we've not had enough. We've not done what we have planned. We've not achieved our visions, because look at, for example, Jesus. Jesus' mission was accomplished when he was 33 already. But it was God's intention anyways, that he had to come and suffer and die. 33 years is considered young. I don't know. But the conversations around dying, nobody wants to have. But I think also in the US, these conversations are easy to have because also there are not many cultures and there are not many dialects that believe differently on death. In Africa, we have a bunch of different dialects. They also believe their own beliefs about death. And they know, like other communities know, that death happens because of maybe it's a bad omen, something that people have done wrong. Those are some of the barriers to having conversation around palliative care or comfort care and even advanced directives, because it's taken serious by the traditionalists, especially those who observe strictly traditional values that are, I think, extremist. They want to account for a death as a bad omen. They have to do sacrifices to cleanse the communities after the death so that they can prevent more death. But being in healthcare, you understand it clearly, the cause of a death, the cause of infirmity. If somebody is dying, they're dying because there is extreme organ damage secondary to road traffic accident, brain damage, heart diseases, high blood sugar, high blood pressure. We know the pathophysiology behind what caused the death. But in Africa, maybe a black cat was crossing the road. Maybe witchcraft. Some people are having paraphernalia and something they're doing somewhere, and they're planning that you die, having those kind of conversations. It's so difficult to have those conversations in Africa because of those dynamics. Some different communities have to have some activities during the death and go dance on the grave, like others drink some kind of paraphernalia and just cleansing, different kind of cultures. It cuts across from North to South Africa, different dialects, different languages, And I think also this is one of the biggest problems we have in Africa because of the dialect. It's beautiful. Cultures are different. They're beautiful. They're nice. But the fact that we have to speak different languages and we are not able to understand each other, look like how politicians confuse people. if a politician goes to a country, up country or remote place where people don't speak Swahili, for example, or English, the locals will need interpretation, and the people who are doing interpretation, maybe they'll put some biasness and maybe misinterpret and say something else that they don't understand. The biggest of them all is, like, for example, my country, beautiful Kenya, we don't have the constitution has not been interpreted to the local dialects. Not even the constitution, the Bible. The Bible is a missionary thing, but even the constitution has not been interpreted to the locals. But like the US speaking the same language, English. They also believe it's different from state to state, but at least they're able to speak the same language. You see, sometimes I think even the analogy of the Tower of Babel, where God had to confuse those guys who were coming together to build a tower by making sure they have different languages. That's the origin of the different languages, anyways. I think it was unfortunate that the different dialects had to be mostly in Africa continent. But anyways, guys, was just talking about advanced directives, and thank you for joining me, and thank you for watching my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching my videos, and please share these videos, and please like my videos, and also please subscribe to my YouTube channel. My name is Richard Okachi, registered nurse, and it's a spectrum of content. We are cutting across life, talking about healthcare, and in the end, you know what? Positive vibes only. Thank you so much, and see you next time.